Yo, what's good everyone? Thank you for tuning in to today's video. As you can see by the title, we are back again with yet another review, and in today's video we are finally getting around to reviewing the Air Jordan 5 Oreos, or Moonlights, whatever you decide to call them. Now this is actually a shoe that we're going to be reviewing both in my size as well as in my missus size, and we'll do a quick comparison so you guys can see if there's any major differences, so do make sure you do stay locked in for that. But just like we always do before we dive into the video itself, I want to welcome back all of my returning subscribers, and if you are new around here and you haven't yet subscribed, please feel free to do so below and join our amazing community. As you may be able to see, we are on that road to 2,000 subscribers, and with your guys' help, I'm sure we can smash that before the end of the year, which would be massively appreciated. Also, what would be appreciated as well is if you could smash that like button. It really does help getting this video out to more and more people so we can keep expanding on our community. But if you do want to actually find me outside of YouTube, you will be able to find me on Instagram under ACS Sneakers. Feel free to drop me a message anytime. I love interacting with you guys, and it's always good to get to know the people that are actually watching my content because it's always massively appreciated. But now we've got all those formalities out of the way, if we now just go ahead and get straight into the video. So just like we always do, before we take a look at the shoes, let's just take a quick look at the shoe box. Now, for anyone who's familiar with the Jordan 5, you probably will be able to see that we do have a slight twist on the usual format for the 5 boxes, as in the centre of this box, we do have that white Jumpman. Now, we do also have some other slight differences as well, as on the bottom portion, just underneath the lid, we do have this white speckling. Hopefully that is actually focusing. Now, this will also come up later on in the review as well, so do make sure to keep an eye out for that. And if we do then just take a quick look at the label, which reads Air Jordan 5 Retro in the black, cool grey, white colourway. Now, this is a personal pair, as it is a UK size 9, as hopefully you will be able to see. And other than that, I can't really think of any other differences. I mean, I haven't always noticed that we have this white section here, which is Air Jordan made in China. I don't know if they really do that on other boxes or whatnot, just in the bottom left-hand corner. I haven't really noticed it before. Not a massive detail, but it's just something worth mentioning. And then on the inside of the box, we do have that, that pretty usual speckling on the actual tissue paper. Hopefully that will focus for you so you can see that as well. Now, as I was mentioning, I do actually have 2 pairs of the Oreos, one in my size, one in my missus size. So I will just get the other box as well so you guys can get a good look at that as well. So here it is, we have my missus Jordan 5 Oreo box. Now, as you can see, this follows more of the usual format for the Air Jordan 5 box, as in the centre of the lid, we do have the red Jumpman. Like I say, a little bit different, not necessarily the biggest detail in the world. I personally thought it was a really nice touch for my pair. I really would have loved if they'd carried that over to the grade school sizes as well, which is a little bit unfortunate. And another detail which is slightly different is instead of the speckling, we do have that usual like elephant print or like paint splatter. Once again, another really subtle detail that a lot of people might not pick up on, but if you are looking to actually buy these resale and you actually are looking for a grade school size, if you don't get this box itself, then it's definitely fake. So one of those things just to bear in mind. Now, the label itself, exactly the same, but I'll just read it for you, which is Air Jordan 5 Retro GS in the black, cool grey, white colourway, and this is a UK 4.5, which is my missus size. Ironically, on this side of the box, we do actually have the Nike Air, as you could see on the other side as well, whereas on my box, we actually have the Jumpman Air branding. Only just noticed that. Pretty weird. Maybe they had some leftover boxes, I'm not sure exactly how it came to be, but these are the 2 boxes side by side. Hopefully it is focusing so you can get a good look at both, but you're not really here for this or for this, so if we now just go ahead and get straight into the shoes. Oh, that's the stuff. So without any further ado, in hand we have the Air Jordan 5 Oreos. Get a good look at it, absolutely beautiful shoe. Now, before we actually do dive into the review of this, I thought it was really interesting how they actually marketed this shoe. If you was on Sneakers recently, around the time that this shoe was actually releasing, they did actually release a specific video for this shoe. Looks like they spent a lot of time on it and a lot of budget, to be completely honest. But for some reason, they're forcing a completely fake narrative on this shoe. Now, I really wasn't interested in sneakers when this shoe officially released in 2013 for the first time. This isn't something that was even on my radar, but having now been in shoes for as long as I have been for the last couple of years and actually done my research on it, The forced storytelling for this colorway is just bananas to me. I have no idea why they're spending so much money to push fake stories on us. But I did actually manage to get the clip from Sneakers app. Hopefully they'll actually let me put it in this video without copyright blocking it. But if it does work, I'll just play it right now so you guys can see exactly what I mean.
Psst. Do you know the story behind this shoe?
You're gonna tell me.
So Mike was on the Nike campus back in the day. He's got an entourage, security, and everything. He's rocking a classic Jordan jumpsuit with a pair of OG Air Jordan 5 metallic silvers. Super drippy. Everybody is shook, but they have to play it cool. He stops in the cafeteria for lunch. There's this kid in line, right? Holding a huge glass of milk. When he sees MJ, he freaks out and forgets what he's doing. Glass drops, milk splatters everywhere, but only a few drops hit MJ's kicks. He looks at the kid and smiles and says, "Cookies and cream."
Where do you get this stuff? The real story is simple. These shoes are called Moonlight.
No one calls them that.
That's because you didn't live it. This shoe changed the game. Nothing beats a classic. The black leather nubuck, white midsole with the speckled black bite teeth, and the fresh lace locks. Cold. When these dropped, we camped out in the moonlight for a week. We sat on the sidewalk so you could sit on your couch.
That's cap.
Nah, no cap. Just facts.
Didn't have any idea why they decided to do it. If it is actually true and I'm wrong, do make sure to correct me in the comment section below. But based on the stories that I've read on Sneaker News, on Sneaker Files, and other pretty reputable sites, they're always referring to this as the Oreos. So maybe certain people in certain places will refer to this as the Moonlight. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to be referring to this shoe as the Oreos. Now we've got that out of the way though, I just want to dive straight into this review so you guys can get a real good look at this shoe and help you guys decide if this is actually a shoe you need for your own personal collection. I say need very sparingly. Nobody needs this shoe, but if you do feel like you need it, then you're in the right place.
Alrighty then.
Now, if we start with the upper of this shoe to begin with, we have this absolutely beautiful all black nubuck material, which dominates the vast majority of the shoe itself. Now, the nubuck on this shoe actually really surprised me. The quality on the hand is absolutely superb. Feels really nice, really thick, and that two-tone aspect is just absolutely love it. Feels great, looks great. Smells great as well, so ticks a lot of boxes for me. I do have some kind of gripe with it though, to be honest, because for me, this is a massive dust collector, and just as I'm sitting here recording this video, I'm seeing speckles of dust actually just landing on the nubuck, which is going to drive me insane. And I just know that the minute I start wearing this frequently, or even just a couple of times probably, the colour is actually going to dull quite quickly, in my personal opinion. I've had very similar shoes to this in the past, and I actually had a shoe by Son of Mars that was actually inspired by this colorway. And honestly, after 2 or 3 wears, it went really dull, and that kind of ruined the whole feeling of actually enjoying that shoe for me. So the fact that I know that the upper is going to dull on it is a little bit disappointing, but in general, it's not necessarily a big enough issue for me to not actually buy the shoe. Now, as promised, here we do actually have both shoes in hand. So this is my Mrs. Purr, tiny as it is, in a UK 4.5. And as we've already seen, this is actually my shoe in a size 9. Now, just at face value, looking at them side by side, they look pretty much nailed on exactly the same. Now, I would personally say that the quality of the nubuck on this shoe is a little bit better than this one. Not massively that you'd even notice it unless you actually had both shoes side by side like I do. But if you walked into a Foot Locker and they were both sitting, I feel like if you just walked past one and picked it up, you really wouldn't be able to tell the difference that much. I feel like both of them, like I've already touched on, are going to attract a lot of dust. Both of them are going to dull over time. And in general, like I say, the quality on both pairs, both QC and quality materials, is absolutely fine for me. I did start to notice though that when I actually did the up close looks at both shoes, that especially around the heel tab of this one, or the back of the shoe I should say for my Mrs. Purr, the actual nubuck looked a lot darker than mine. I'm not sure if that's just because I've been messing with the actual nubuck on this shoe and it started to change colour direction a little bit because of that two-tone. But if you actually do just have a quick look at some of the pictures that I actually did get for both of these shoes, the heels do look a little bit different on this shoe to this shoe. Now, in terms of like the details, like I say, right the way throughout the shoe, they are pretty much identical. So no complaints from my missus. This actually retails for £100 in her size, and in my size this is 170. So considering you're getting pretty much the exact same shoe for £70 less, ladies, you honestly can't complain. The quality of this shoe is absolutely fire. It is a great shoe for the coming seasons, for autumn and winter, and I just genuinely believe that this is a really good cop. It's not a must cop by any means as far as I'm concerned, but if you are looking for that really great everyday type of shoe, you really can't go wrong with either, whether you are looking for a smaller size or a bigger size. And as we actually move throughout the rest of the review, if there are any differences that I'm not actually thinking about right now, I will make sure to throw them in later on in the video.
Lovely jubbly, so everyone's a winner, right?
So moving on with the rest of the review, carrying on with this shoe, as you can see in the midfoot, we do have that pretty standard Jordan 5 netting. Now this can be seen on both the lateral and medial sides, and it's the same for both shoes, both adults and GS. And then as we do work our way back, unfortunately on the lateral side where there would normally be the 23 branding, it's not actually included on this shoe. I'm not exactly sure how they decide which Jordan 5s will and won't have that 23 detailing. I personally love it. I think it actually adds a lot of contrast to the uppers, and it gives it something to actually break it up a little bit. It's, like I say, once again, not a big enough issue to turn me off buying the shoe, but I definitely would have preferred it on the shoe. But if we then just work our way onto the heel of the shoe, we do actually have this really nicely embroidered white Jumpman branding. If we then just work our way back into the center of the shoe, now as you can see, we do have those pretty standard flat black shoelaces. Now the laces themselves do actually sit atop more of that netting, just like what we see on either side of the shoe. And then as we do work our way up the laces, we do have that pretty standard Jordan 5 lace lock. As we then work our way up to the top of the tongue itself, instead of that usual 3M material that we see with a lot of Jordan 5s, we do actually have more of this satin cloth material, and embroidered into the center of the tongue, we do have this greyed out Jumpman. Personally, I do actually kind of like the actual switch up from the usual 3M. If you know me, you know I'm a massive fan of 3M sneakers, but I don't always think it's needed for every single shoe, and I think for this shoe, the satin tongue itself is absolutely fine, absolutely no complaints there. On the back portion of the tongue though, we do actually have this white cotton based material, I believe. I think it's cotton, I'm not exactly sure. And then on the reverse of the tongue, we do have that Air Jordan branding. Now, as you can see, we do have a primarily white sock liner to match the back portion of the tongue. On the inside of the sock liner itself, as well as on the outside of the ankle collar, we do have tons of padding like we have with most Jordan 5s. Feels great on feet, feels really nice under hand as well, really nicely padded. So if you are looking for that really nice, comfortable feeling, especially on your ankle, this is definitely a great shoe to have. And then as we do work our way even further inside the shoe, we do have this primarily black insole with the white Jumpman branding. So just to quickly touch on the overall sizing for the shoe, I personally went true to size with a UK size 9. Now, my missus also went true to size with her pair as well with a 4.5, and we both agree that this shoe fits absolutely fine. Just go with your natural true to size fit in whatever you wear in most Nike shoes or most Jordans, and I do think that that will be the best outcome for you. If there's any opportunity for you to actually try the pair before buying, this shoe in the UK at least is popping up at certain retailers, both in-store and online. So if you do manage to actually try the shoe before buying, that's obviously going to be the best outcome. But if not, and you are looking to buy this off StockX or GOAT, just go with your natural true to size fit, and I do think that that will be the best outcome for you. But from there, if we then just work our way down to the midsole, we do have this primarily white polyurethane midsole with an exposed air unit towards the heel. Now, also featuring on the midsole, we do have that beautiful, iconic shark teeth detailing, and this also does feature the exact same speckling, just like what we saw on my box. Unfortunately, that doesn't actually transfer over to the GS box like we took a look at, but for me, as far as I'm concerned, selfishly, I think it's a great touch that this matches the box. I think it ties in beautifully. And honestly, absolutely love how it looks on this shoe. And then from there, if we do switch over to the outsole of the shoe, as you can see, we have that beautiful semi-translucent outsole with the herringbone traction. And other than that, I think we've just about covered everything that's worth mentioning about this shoe. So if we now just go ahead and wrap up the video. So just to wrap up this video, in terms of my overall opinion on the shoe itself, I'm going to give the Jordan 5 Oreo a pretty respectable 7 out of 10. For me, this is by no means a must-cop shoe. Now, if you are looking for another shoe that you want more than these, I'd highly suggest just going with what you actually want more. Honestly, I'm really glad to have the shoe in my collection, don't get me wrong, but I had to sit myself down and actually decide, is this actually a shoe that I really have to have? Because earlier this year, I did actually pick up the Jordan 5 Anthracites, and the shoes, whilst being completely different, were kind of similar in terms of the colorways. But for me, I like the shoe enough to actually keep it in the collection, so this is actually going to stay with me in my personal collection. But if there's a shoe that I'm aiming to get more than this is definitely something I would be more than happy to pass up on. But other than that, that's just about wraps up everything that I have to say about this shoe. I'd love to get your guys' opinion on it as well. Did you pass on these, or did you cop, or are you even looking to pick up a pair of these down the road? Do make sure to leave me a comment in the comment section below. Now, if you have stuck around to this point in the video, I do want to say a massive thank you. If you haven't already, please feel free to smash that subscribe button. Also, do make sure the bell notification is switched on so you never miss a video. And I hope to see you all again in the next one.